I'm going to walk through the e-commerce flow that we use to help people prioritize what needs to be worked on next when it comes to selling their products or growing their business online or their online commerce business. The reason that we do this is that we've watched a lot of different brands start to build their efforts and grow their business, and that selling products online, there are different levers that you can push and um, different efforts and priorities make a different amount of effort. For example, a lot of people can start to want to spend money on advertisements or Google ads or SEO or something like that, but they haven't quite established the correct product market fit yet, or they haven't really figured out their positioning, or they haven't really worked through what the shopping experience is like for a customer. And so we watch people spend and waste a lot of time, energy, effort, money, resources on putting the wrong things first. And so we like to help people think through strategically what is the most important efforts that you can work through, and then having a cascading list of priorities that follow those most important efforts. So I'm going to walk through those a little bit. Hopefully this helps people either, one, understand where you can go work on things next, or understand what kind of help you need to ask for. So the first thing is understanding your product market fit. Ensuring that a product market fit is the most important step of growing online sales. It's from that foundation that all the other portions of the process flow. Does your product and do the products that you sell fit the market that you're trying to sell to? And when those people receive those products, do they enjoy using them? Does it fit? Do they feel like their needs are taken care of? All of that stuff matters. You can watch a lot of brands really rise to a lot of prominence online, but they still haven't really established product market fit. You can do a lot of sales, but if you do a lot of sales without having product market fit, you're going to be in this consistent cycle of churn and not understanding why people aren't buying something for the second or third time, and they're not recommending your product to their friends. Positioning would be the next thing to think through. So once we understand what our product market fit is, this next part is how do we communicate that? Understanding that your customers want to understand something, they want to be communicated something, they have felt needs, problems they're trying to solve, payoffs that they're trying to experience, and your business and brand and product has different features and benefits that it needs to communicate. The shopping experience follows directly after that. So once we understand the product market fit, we understand how we talk about it in a way that is accurate to the product and the brand that we have, but it also is communicating to the things that our audience wants to understand. We know how to talk about it. Now we can build out and optimize a shopping experience. So a shopping experience would just be, what does that online purchasing experience look like? What does that commerce experience look like? How easy is it to find a product, buy it, add it to a cart, receive all the relevant communications, and then make sure that that product shows up in their home and they get to use it well. So what's that shopping experience? What does a customer go through? And then what do we need to do to make that shopping experience happen really well? After that comes transactional communication. Emails, text messages, any kind of other transactional communication that revolves around the actual purchase of the product. So this is kind of an extension of the shopping experience. This helps to reinforce your brand, reinforce your positioning. It helps to educate your customer and audience about how you use your product or engage with your brand further, and then also helps them talk about how to it helps them become an ambassador for your brand or your product so that other people can talk about it really well. So all of those first four steps are usually not what people are talking about when they're talking about marketing, but we found that if we don't build those first four steps first, any of the growth efforts, and that's kind of the last piece of the puzzle, any of those growth efforts that we want to take on aren't going to do much to make that big of a difference. Or they're going to make a minimum amount of difference. And if we have a really great product market fit, really great positioning, really great shopping experience, and really awesome transactional communication, our growth efforts are going to be multiplied in effectiveness. So growth efforts, we separate them down into two different forms. There's we call organic, and one being deliberate. So organic is all of those things that we, systems and processes and communication that's set up that people can just hop into and participate in. So this is community building, content marketing, social media engagement, word of mouth marketing, and offline experiences, which we're going to talk about each of these pieces a little bit more in depth after that. And then deliberate efforts include paid advertising, influencer partnerships, paid advertising on social, sort of any of those things where we are very deliberately, whether we're putting up a billboard, a paid ad, some advertisement online, whatever we're doing, those things are all built to show up very deliberately in front of a particular group of people. So let's walk through each of those in a bit more depth and give some examples of the type of efforts that live inside of each of those activities. So the first one is product market fit. So this is understanding your product, understanding your market, understanding what kind of competitive advantages are there, how are you different than other products that also sit in that category, or how are you different with respect to how your market is going to understand you. Have you defined your target market yet? Have you gotten customer feedback on this product works, or I think about it like this? This is where a lot of product testing, a lot of market research, a lot of focus groups, a lot of those type of things fit into. Those things are awesome at helping to really define what does our product market fit look like. The next step, we talk about positioning. So this is language and copy and words. We're thinking about the color, the shape, the size, the pricing, the features and benefits. What problems are we solving? What's our differentiation? What's our unique selling proposition and tone? Are we funny? Are we serious? Are we educated? Do we speak a common language? Do we make things easy to understand? Are we high end? Are we luxury? Like, what is the tone and the nature of how our brand and business is positioned? And is that reflected across all parts of the rest of our business? So from packaging, from what we will talk about next in our marketing and advertising, and in our communications, in our emails, in our online shopping experience, that positioning clearly defined makes it very easy to move forward into further activities. After positioning comes the shopping experience. We like to think through, what does the online store actually look like? How are you displaying the products? How are the products described? What kind of media, imagery, video, design, examples? Can we show it in use? Can we show your product being used in different ways? Does it look fun, interesting? So this is kind of where we define all of those things. What kind of social proof or reviews do we have within that shopping experience? What kind of information about each product or our brand are we displaying? What does the checkout process look like? What is fulfillment, delivery? How fast is that happening? How fast is the communication coming out from you? What does the packaging look like? What's the unboxing experience? And how easy or confident do we make a customer who receives a package at home, and we're not there to sort of educate them about it or teach them how to use it? How easy do we make it for them to get going and using that product and taking advantage of all the good stuff that we've baked into it? So that shopping experience is critical. So when people show up to ask, can you set up an online store? It's pretty easy to set up an online store and get people to be able to pay for a transaction. But to think through a deliberate shopping experience that makes your customer, it reflects your product market fit, reflects your positioning, and then is a wonderful shopping experience for people to have that they're excited to recommend to other people. Those are kind of the first big three things of getting your store up and running in a way that's not just, let me see if I can complete a transaction online, but instead is, are we building a business that we're expecting to see a lot of growth from? The next piece is thinking through transactional communication. So this is having, what does our receipt email look like? What does a confirmation email look like? What kind of languages used inside of text message notifications? Do we have a series of follow-up emails, either asking for reviews or feedback, or encouraging people to share, talk about it to others? Are we asking people to jump into our social media following or our email list? Are we having them create an account with our store so that we can have further communication, or they can have a deeper ongoing relationship with our business and brand? So that transactional communication makes a nice layer kind of around, it's a nice extension of that shopping experience. For the best brands, those things feel seamless. That transactional communication and online shopping experience are both on brand, reinforce the positioning of the brand and the product, and reinforce that product market fit and help to make sure that that's happening. The next stage is organic growth. So in organic growth, we like to think through, how are we helping word of mouth to happen? How are we helping things to be shareable? What are we doing to build a community online or connect our audience to each other to help people feel like they're part of something or a group of something larger than just one individual transaction? This is where we talk about, how's our customer service? How's our content marketing? Are we doing blogging, email marketing? Are we contributing to other blogs, or other people contributing to our content marketing efforts? Are we getting any kind of earned media? Is our product and service or our delivery of all of those previous steps so good that other people are talking about us in the media? What kind of offline interaction are we having? Are we doing pop-ups somewhere? Are we showing up in person in front of people? Are we doing demonstrations? What does that all look like? And so in those stages, we think of those as organic growth. So those are nice extensions of that secondary tier. So we've talked about the shopping experience and all that transactional communication that's happening with customers. This is what is the brand doing at that layer and level outside of our current or existing or potential customers? Are we just building an audience and growing the awareness of our brand and also our pool of potential customers who know about us and know what we sell and are ready at some point will be excited to buy from us? And the final step we talk about is deliberate growth. So deliberate growth is an extension of organic growth. So organic growth is systems and processes that we're setting up that people can jump into, where we can own the relationship with that audience after that. Deliberate growth is an ongoing discipline where we're talking about those deliberate things to get in front of complete strangers who have never heard about us and then begin to trust and understand our brand. And because we already have a good system set up for our shopping experience, we have good transactional communication, we have really great organic growth efforts happening. This deliberate growth does a great job of, even if it's not converting somebody directly to a customer, it can put them into our experience so that in the future when they want to buy something from us, if the customer journey doesn't lend itself to a purchase right away, they're going to be able to stick around and pay attention, and we're going to have the systems and tools in place to capture that transaction further down the road, even if we don't get it immediately. So that includes, deliberate growth includes brand collaborations or influencer relationships. We're running giveaways, sales, discounts, promotions. What kind of just marketing and advertising campaigns are we running? Are we doing any kind of paid advertising, whether that's through offline in direct mail or some other offline area? Are we doing paid advertising online, whether that's through social media, retargeting, brand advertising? Are we doing any kind of Google ads or pay-per-click ads? Are we doing affiliate marketing? So all of those things kind of sit under the umbrella of deliberate growth. And if we don't have a good shopping experience set up, and if we don't have good transactional communication, and if we don't have great organic growth things happening, then deliberate growth is going to have a much smaller impact than what we want it to have. A little bit of it is necessary. At some point, we have to get strangers to know about our products. And so what do we do to get strangers to know about us? Even if we haven't tested product market fit a ton, we still need to be doing these things. And so I think about this a little bit, instead of like thinking of it as a progression from a linear progression, it's more of it's a cycle. Is we start off with understanding what is our product market fit. So even if you are starting a fledgling company and you've got a couple of products that you think you want to sell, you have had no transactions yet, you can still have an idea about product market fit. You can go talk to a couple of friends or a couple of people who are a potential audience and start to get that feedback. If you're a larger business or brand, you can run test groups or focus groups. You can do consumer testing. You do a bunch of consumer research about your market and about what they're interested in, about how your product might fit them. From there, we evolve into understanding positioning and how to talk about things, which evolves to speak to our shopping and communication, which evolves into that growth efforts. And as those growth efforts happen, as we get in front of more and more people, or more and more people are kind of in our orbit or ecosystem, we have a better idea and opportunity to have a better product market fit. So just because you start on day one with some product or a very small audience, or you're not even sure how big your audience is, you can still take a good educated guess at what the product market fit might be. But then as we're learning at every step of the cycle, we're continuing to evolve and refine how we describe that product market fit or how we understand it. You may launch a product that you think is really useful for one demographic, but find out that there's other people who are really connected to or attracted to it. Or you might find that maybe that market that you've built a really great relationship with is ready for a different product. And you've heard a lot of people ask for certain things, or because of listening to them, you realize they love your product, but there's this other thing that they're kind of searching for that maybe sits adjacent to your product. And it gives you this opportunity to offer something new or something different, or to alter or tweak your product for it or your brand to fit that market a bit better. So this is the commerce flow. It's always evolving, always expanding, always informing the next steps. And what we've found is that if we start off at those very first questions about product market fit, positioning, and that shopping experience, then the growth efforts flow very organically out of that. If you have any questions, you can shoot me an email, adam@thewonderjam.com. and I'll be happy to chat.